Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to Bluegrass Home Garden TV. I'm Amber Canoy, and like last time, a little different around here. Kate Horning, my good friend, is joining us again in her home, her kitchen, giving us some great recipes to try over the next few weeks. It's going to be a little different of a show, but sit back, relax, and hopefully you'll try some of these for yourself.
All right, so today we're making some of my go-to simple holiday side dishes. These are perfect all holiday season, and what I love about them is there's so few ingredients. So it's easy to kind of assemble everything and whip it out in really no time at all. So the first thing I'm gonna start with is my crispy Parmesan roasted potatoes. And these are great because they can be prepped in advance and easily reheated in the oven. Also, the combination of melty butter and Parmesan cheese baked into the potatoes just adds so much flavor and texture. It's delicious. And then we're gonna be serving those alongside my roasted maple Dijon Brussels sprouts. Again, super simple, but so much flavor and just a fun twist on Brussels sprouts. I feel like Brussels sprouts are getting kind of popular, over the last couple of years. And so I'm always looking for new ways to make them for my family and kind of change it up, but again, keep it super simple. So I'm just gonna get started melting some butter, and we're gonna dive into the potatoes and get those going. And then we'll work on the Brussels sprouts and we'll pull it all together, again, in not a long time, and it's gonna be so delicious. So I'm gonna get my butter into my pan over medium heat. You could also do this inside of your pan in the oven. So whatever pan you're cooking those potatoes in, you could just stick your butter and put the pan in there. And that's another easy way if you don't want to dirty a dish. I don't mind washing dishes, so I'm gonna toss it in here on the stove top and just get it melting down. And that's gonna create the base for these potatoes. All right, so I'm gonna get that melted, and I'm gonna show you how to get the Parmesan cheese paste made when we get back. Don't go anywhere.
It has been a little bit, but Jimmy Nash is with us once again. And when we were here last time, Jimmy, I remember that fireplace was just all coming together, and we were all in awe about how big it was.
Right. Yep. And we were just talking earlier, it's the only fireplace that Santa could actually go down with that.
Without having to use a little bit of his magic to somehow squeeze.
Exactly.
But yeah, they've got to be ecstatic because they are moving in just in time for Christmas. There's a few little elves watching us today, making sure that we're behaving.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So tell us about this kitchen.
Well, this island is huge. Its top is wonderful, and it's got the mitered edge to it, and it's a quartzite, so it's like a really popular right now. Quartzite's getting as popular as quartz, so it's real stone versus man-made stone.
And you're not really hearing people talk so much anymore really about granite. They seem to be moving more into
I don't think
quartz
we've used granite in probably 4 or 5 years. Very little. So, and I think a lot of it has to do because the quartzite has a nice clean look, light colors, and quartz itself is very clean and white. Or most of the granites are the dark granites, and we've had them for 20, 30, 100 years, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, this is beautiful, custom metal hood, which is really nice. I love the backsplash that they've used with that.
Yeah, it's a very clean line, light color, but not all white.
Right.
I love the fact that they've brought in a little bit of the warm tones with not whitewash, but I mean the browns are a more subtle color, and it still keeps it light and airy, and then the color on the floor, just very well done, which is should be a little bit attributed to your in-house designer.
Well, the thing is this kitchen is really huge.
And
this
it is.
Island is like the biggest island that we've probably done, but it doesn't feel overwhelming at all.
No. It doesn't feel like you're lost in the space.
Not at all.
It's a very good use of the space, for sure. So I know next time we're going to showcase that fantastic stairway.
Right.
But in the meantime, you are breaking ground here in the Waldorf, come up, your newest subdivision.
We have a home in Patch and Wilkes under construction. We're breaking ground, and one in the Oaks the first of the year. Another one in the Reserve we're breaking ground on next week. And we have our townhomes that we just started over into the Tuscany area.
But don't forget those scattered sites. So if you have land that you're looking to purchase or already have land, they can also build on those scattered sites.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like we are here.
Just visit our website or give me a ring, 859-621-8880.
We've all seen it. A social media post or video where your first thought is that true? Unfortunately, misinformation comes in many forms, but there are tools to help you spot those red flags. That's why WKYT and our corporate company, Gray Television Group, are teaming up with MediaWise, a literary initiative for the nonprofit Pointer Institute. Learn how to navigate through the social media noise and identify factual information. Scan the QR code now to find out more and sign up for daily text messages to become MediaWise.
He dribbles it out, and DRC is your 2022 champion.
We have so much basketball tonight.
A spin dial in the paint.
High School Game Time, Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 on WKYT. Sponsored by UK Federal Credit Union.
All right, so my cranberries are popping away, and I'm gonna start working on my cranberry orange bread. So I'm just taking some fresh oranges and squeezing them to get fresh juice. You could also use pre-done orange juice or pre-made orange juice that you buy at the store, but I just feel like, again, the holidays, I have a little extra time, so I tend to really do everything from scratch because I just think it tastes better. So I need about 3/4 of a cup, which that looks good. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of orange zest into this bread just because I find all the flavor is really in that peel of your citrus. So I like to add both to kind of give it that extra pop of orange flavor. And so I'm just gonna add that in the bowl, and we'll get all of our wet ingredients in here. So we're gonna do sugar and butter, all the basics that you would typically see in most bread or muffins. And I love to actually make this bread, and I'll do it when I have a little extra time before the craziness of the holidays kicks in, and then I'll freeze it. And I like to do it in these little reusable, like ceramic loaf pans, and then I'll just wrap it up really cute and give it as a hostess gift. So it's a little thing that you can do that makes a big impact when you're entertaining, or you go to someone else's house and you want to take a unique gift that's homemade and special. And these make a really good gift because honestly, when people have family in town, it's nice to pull out something homemade. Okay, so zest is going in, and then into this bowl I'm going to add some butter. I've got about 1/4 cup of butter here. You want it to be softened but not melted. So I've let it sit out for about an hour, and it's not quite as soft as I like it, but it's a little cold in here. So that's gonna go in, and then I'm gonna add about 3/4 cup of sugar. You could use brown sugar as well. I just kind of change it up to whatever I'm in the mood for, but any sugar will do. I need a little more sugar, I guess. I'm gonna add that in, and I am one of those bakers who I'm not the best at measuring, so I think that's 3/4 of a cup, but it'll turn out. And then a little vanilla. I would say about 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, depending on how much you like vanilla. I love it, so I'm putting a lot in. And then we're gonna take that and go ahead and just cream together the vanilla, the sugar, and the butter with my mixer here. And try not to make a mess. And essentially you just wanna get this all combined. And then we're gonna add in our egg and our orange juice, and you can smell all that orange zest is really perfuming that sugar and butter mixture. Okay, so that looks fine. I'm gonna add the egg in, give it another mix together, and combine that in there. I'm gonna get this all mixed together. I'm gonna add in my orange juice, and then when we come back, we'll get the dry ingredients all incorporated, and we'll get our muffins into the oven.
So there's lots of ways to decorate Christmas trees. What we focus in on at the store really is using picks and greens and stuff. But people have always asked, what does your personal Christmas tree look like? It isn't anything I think you would expect to see. It's this. And it really is memory and ornament based. And so you don't even see picks and greens, all this stuff that I tout. Now I use them throughout the house, and I'll make garlands, and I'll make mantelpieces and the planters, but our Christmas tree actually is all about memories and ornaments and things that we collected and the kids have made. I always go back to the paper hand ornament with the turkey neck falling off of it is one of my favorites that gives me joy. So I want to show you a few little tricks if you have a Christmas tree that is based off of lots of Christmas ornaments. And so the first thing is you really, in this situation, start with a really pretty tree. And I've got it mostly 90% finished, but this is a really pretty Fraser fir type tree, because I think you see the textures of this as opposed to the other direction. The tree's not important, you know, if you have the picks cover it up. So I took this. So one of the things I think is important is this kind of lime green bell ornaments, but it's large scale things that you put in the tree to kind of bulk it up, because most of the ornaments are pretty small. So I'm going to go ahead and put this ornament in. I'm going to tie it in, show you that, and then we'll come back and show you a couple of other little layers of tricks if your tree is oriented toward family and ornaments.
He dribbles it out, and ERC is your 2022 champion.
We have so much basketball tonight. Spin dial in the paint.
High School Game Time, Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 on WKYT. Sponsored by UK Federal Credit Union.
Okay, so we're getting all the wet ingredients mixed together. I'm gonna get my orange juice in. Smells so good. All right, that looks good. And then to the wet ingredients, we're gonna add our dry ingredients. So I've got some baking powder, some baking soda, some salt, and I always add salt to my sweet to bring out that flavor. I just feel like it adds so much. And then we're gonna add some flour. So I'm gonna do about 2 cups of flour here, and I'm just gonna add it all in at once, and then we'll mix it up one last time, and then we're gonna fold in those cranberries because I don't want them to burst. A lot of your cranberry breads, you'll see they'll like cut them in half, but I love the whole cranberries in there. I think they're pretty, and then you get that bite of sort of bitter and sour in a really delicious sweet. Okay, so I can actually just fold this in by hand. And that's the key to baking. You really just want to measure, which again, I'm not always the best at, and you want to make sure that you don't overmix your flour because it tends to make things tough. So I find that I like to just use a spatula and sort of fold it in. And this is coming together beautifully. This is gonna be a little bit thicker batter, so don't freak out if you see it looks kind of like a cookie dough. It makes a really kind of dense, moist, delicious bread with little flecks of butter throughout. Okay, so now we're just gonna add our cranberries, and I do about a cup of cranberries, but honestly, I just eyeball it. I do enough to stud the dough with the cranberries, but not too many. So we're just gonna fold those out in again, and I think I'm gonna add a pinch of cinnamon too, just for fun. I love to add cinnamon in all of my holiday dishes that I can. I feel like it's just such a holiday flavor. I'm gonna add a little pinch into my cranberry sauce as well. And to be honest, this cranberry red with that cranberry sauce is gonna be really good together. So a little pinch of cinnamon is gonna go in, and we'll give it one more stir. And then, as I mentioned, you can put them into these little loaf pans. You could bake it as one big loaf if you want something like for breakfast. I'm gonna do muffins because I want them done quickly. And I also love to take like a little bag and put a couple muffins, and then you can put a little bow, and that would also be a lovely gift. So this is what it looks like, all mixed together, and it smells so good. You can really smell that orange. It's so delicious. So I am going to get these into my muffin pan. I've got my oven preheating to 350 degrees. They're gonna go in for about 15 minutes, and the whole house is gonna smell amazing.
Hi, Richard Weber here at Springhouse Gardens, wanting to wish you all a happy holiday season. We've been busy cutting greenery from all over our property and some of our clients' properties so that we have lots of fresh cut greenery. We've just completed our wreath making season here, but now that gives me some time to use up all the other clippings and cuttings to make some things for myself. Wintertime, you know, heading into December and even into January is a great time to do a lot of this clipping and pruning of some of your evergreen plants. In fact, we don't do a whole lot of pruning on our plants here on our 13 acres until November, when we're wanting to use those clippings and cuttings for things like wreath making. One of the most popular landscape plants here over the past probably 50 years are taxus or yews. Believe it or not, they're one of the best things for using for wreath making, swags, and decorating because the needles don't drop when you bring these in. So we go around cutting, clipping, and we'll turn these into beautiful wreaths. White pine is another one that if you're blessed to have some pines, don't be afraid to cut that greenery and use that as well, because it holds up very well inside. It's beautiful outside too. The only thing about using pine cuttings is that you get a lot of sap on your hands, but it's great. Don't let that stop you from clipping some pines and using it for your arrangements. Just remember to use a little olive oil or even a cheaper cooking oil, and that will take that pine sap right off of your hands, plus make them nice and soft. I have several clients that call me every year and say, hey, my Chamaecyparis is getting too big. You can come and cut all the branches you want. I don't pass that up, because look at the pretty gold foliage that you have on a lot of these Hinoki cypresses, and they can grow a lot. So prune those in November and December and use those for your decorating purposes. There's other things besides green and yellow. Look for anything with kind of a bluish cast, because that's going to make a really, really pretty complement to your decorating. Don't forget to use winter berries as well. The key to using winter berries in your house are not to put these in any water. They're better to be drying in your house. If you put them in water, they'll continue to grow and they'll eventually fall off and become kind of a nuisance. So cut the winter berries and bring them in the house, or leave them out for the birds. There's all sorts of things that you can be using from your home and garden. If you don't have things in your garden, that's where we come in. Please come out, find some plants that you like, ask about how suitable they are for cutting and using for arrangements. You can use anything outside, but inside you have to be very particular about what you use so you're not ending up with a bunch of needles all over your floor. Until next time, you can reach us at Springhouse Gardens, 859-224-1417, or follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
WKYT rules winter.
And we know Kentucky weather can take a turn fast.
Whether it's rain, sleet, snow, or ice.
We're tracking it all, alerting you first, wherever you are.
So you have days to prepare. No surprises.
With accuracy you can plan on. This is why WKYT rules winter, and this is why we first alert.
The most trusted in Kentucky, Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and the First Alert Weather Team, only on WKYT. We've all seen it. A social media post or video where your first thought is that true? Unfortunately, misinformation comes in many forms, but there are tools to help you spot those red flags. That's why WKYT and our corporate company, Gray Television Group, are teaming up with MediaWise, a literary initiative for the nonprofit Pointer Institute. Learn how to navigate through the social media noise and identify factual information. Scan the QR code now to find out more and sign up for daily text messages to become MediaWise.
Okay, so the batter is made. We're gonna get it into the oven. I'm just going to put my little muffin liners in, and then I like to use a cookie dough scoop or like an ice cream scoop whenever I'm baking muffins or cupcakes. I find it just portions everything out really evenly, and it makes it a lot more evenly when it bakes. So you get a nice pretty top as well, because it's got that little curve on it. So I'm just gonna scoop them in here, and then as I mentioned, we're gonna bake them about 350 degrees for, I would say, 15 minutes. With this kind of stuff, I always set a timer a little early, even if you're reading a recipe off the internet. You know, set the timer for 3 or 4 minutes less, and then just sort of check it. And I'll just stick a toothpick in. I find it is the best test of if it's actually done. And if you want to like make a glaze for these, you can take a little powdered sugar and orange juice and drizzle it over top when they come out of the oven. That would be really delicious. Or you could put some frosting on top, like a cream cheese frosting would be really pretty. I just kind of like them as is, so that's how I do it. But again, the goal here is to give you guys inspiration, and then you all can make it your own and change it up. And as I mentioned too, these freeze well, so if you want to make them in advance, just wrap them up tight, put them in the freezer, and they should last a couple of months. And I tend to always end up with 11. I don't know what it is. Every time my recipe calls for 12, I've got 11. That is okay. Take this guy out, and I'm gonna pop these into the oven. Again, I'll set the timer for like 12, 13 minutes and start checking on them from there. Also, a little tip is make the batter in advance if you have guests coming over, and then pop in the oven right before people come, and your house is gonna smell amazing. So I'm gonna pop these in, and I cannot wait to give them a try. They're gonna be so delicious. So stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be tasting our cranberry sauce, and we'll be tasting our muffins. What I'm gonna do now with the cranberry sauce, though, before it's finished is go ahead and add in some juice and zest, not of this one, of these two. A little bit of orange juice, a little bit of lemon juice, and lemon zest. And again, that's just gonna give it a nice pop. And then I'm going to add a little pinch of cinnamon and let this cool, and it should all kind of thicken up and come together. You can pop it in the fridge as well if you want to speed up that process, but I like it a little runny and I'm going to taste it warm. So I cannot wait, you guys. My kitchen smells so good. So I will see you all when I get back.
Okay, we're back at my house today with my collection of family ornaments, and I'm getting ready to put one of my favorite ornaments. It's a pickle ornament. So it's a little German heritage. Look it up. Look up pickle ornament Christmas tree, and you'll find a little story. So I'm going to take him and I'm going to hide him in here. And again, you got to look it up to know why I'm doing that. So the next little layer is just a little touches of ribbon, and our tree is family and whimsy, and so I wanted to add Frosty the Snowman ribbon to it this year. This is my tree topper. Instead of an angel or star, which I love too, I put Frosty on there, and I found this fun little ribbon, and I fit this ribbon from the store that reminds me of a Santa suit, and tied him together. This is about 1.5 yards of each one of the ribbons. Take him, kind of nestle him in there, kind of tucked under that bigger ornament. And then I always feel like, you know, the tree should be representative of what you love. And so I love me some Kentucky. So I'm going to hang my Kentucky ornament on there. And I feel like these fun things are jumping out at it. These are little elf legs that we sold at the store a long time ago. And I love how they look like he's just kind of jumped into the tree, and he's kind of buried in there, and gives it a little whimsical look to it. And there's another set that we sold, I think, last year. But love that. It's got a little stem on it. So I'm going to open the tree up and shove him way back in there. So I got my mischievous little elf legs, and I think this is an absolutely fun tree. It's got big ornaments on it. It's got some ribbon on it. It's got my elf legs, family memories. And that is how I do Christmas tree at my house. If you got any questions, just come and see me, 1148 Industry Road, House by JSD.
We've all seen it. A social media post or video where your first thought is that true? Unfortunately, misinformation comes in many forms, but there are tools to help you spot those red flags. That's why WKYT and our corporate company, Gray Television Group, are teaming up with MediaWise, a literary initiative for the nonprofit Pointer Institute. Learn how to navigate through the social media noise and identify factual information. Scan the QR code now to find out more and sign up for daily text messages to become MediaWise. Leadership. It's about serving you, innovating how you get informed, listening, and getting help to those who need it. WKYT is built on a legacy of leadership, and we're informing you, building community, uncovering the truth, and alerting you first. Everyday Kentucky, weekdays at 9 a.m. on WKYT.
We're going to do our garland up the staircase today, and this looks like it's a pretty difficult job to do, but I'm going to show you that it's not that hard. So I have this beautiful white pine garland that we sell, and then these pretty little rice slices, little twinkle lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally lay that on the garland, and I take another garland. That's what's making this so lush and over the top, is I'm laying that on top of it, and my ever-present zip tie. I am moving some of the greenery around, so I'll just get the stem of the garland, zip tying this together. Okay. Cut it off. And that now becomes one piece. The lights are literally buried inside of that. So you'll say, well, what the lights tear up? Well, these are these LED lights, which last for years and years and years. But the worst case scenario is if they did tear up, or you got just the regular plain lights, you can cut a zip tie off. But this acts like one piece. And then I take another zip tie, again, put it on the banister. Sometimes you put two of them together. Zip tie this to the banister. You can see I haven't even had time to cut this one off. There's the zip tie. And then just swag it. And this becomes, what's wonderful about this is you're not dealing with two garlands, and it's all one piece zip tied together. And my final little thing is I already have my bows pre-made. I wire them in there, and that is Garland Lush Basic 101. The white pine is your friend, ultimately, when you hear all this. Come and see us at the house by JSD, or you can shop online, housebyjsd.com.
All right, the muffins are out of the oven and they smell outrageous, like so good. The cranberries have sort of burst inside of them, and it looks so pretty as well. So these are not only delicious, but they are a showstopper. You just need to get a little pedestal and pile them up and impress your guests. And the cranberry sauce is thickened up. I cooked it for about 15 minutes, and then I stirred in some lemon zest, some lemon juice, some orange zest, some orange juice, some cinnamon, just to give it all that delicious holiday flavor. And I'm going to show you guys how gorgeous that looks. And it will thicken up in the fridge overnight, or if you're making this for Thanksgiving and want to pop it in the fridge, or Christmas, or any holiday, and want to pop it in the fridge for a couple of hours. As soon as it cools, it'll thicken, but mine is piping hot, so I can't wait to taste it. And I love cranberry sauce. It's just simple. Like I said, it's all about the cranberry. So I really just highlighted that ingredient with some delicious flavors. Sour, tangy, sweet. That's gonna be so good. I think I'm gonna take some sourdough bread and a little bit of goat cheese and serve this right on top. It's gonna be the perfect appetizer for my Christmas dinner. And then these muffins. These are what I've really been waiting for. Christmas morning, oh my goodness, these would be so perfect. And you can see, they're steaming. The exterior is kind of chewy, and the interior is so sweet. I'm afraid to eat a cranberry because they're still pretty hot, but they're so good. And they're not too sweet. That's what I love about these muffins, is that they're just sweet enough to balance the cranberry, but they're not like too sweet that you can't have them for breakfast. So I hope you guys give these recipes a try. I hope they make it to your family's holiday table, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. Happy holidays.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much to Kate Horning, who always just blesses us with some great meal ideas. I keep trying them all the time at my house. I love them. They give me new things to try out for family and friends. But also, don't forget, we've got the best of episodes coming up the next several weeks, kind of recapping some of our favorites all throughout the year. And again, happy Christmas, happy holidays, and keep watching.